They were supposed to arrive at 4 o'clock GMT. All indicators were green. Earth's atmosphere had been calibrated to support their unique respiratory conditions. Orbital lanes cleared. The Council had issued the highest diplomatic rating available, Priority Peace Class 1. Even the Terran ambassadors wore ceremonial garb woven with psionic threads, out of respect for their guests' ancient customs. But they never came. Not because of delay. Not because of malfunction. They stopped. The Varishtai, the galaxy's oldest, most revered, and, until now, most unshakable civilization, halted their mothership 30 light seconds from Earth orbit. And refused to move. At first, no one noticed. 30 light seconds wasn't far. Plenty of species paused before full approach, especially those sensitive to gravitational anomalies or solar emissions. It wasn't unusual for a diplomatic ship to conduct extra scans. But then, they cut all comms. No explanation. No requests. Just silence. The Terran diplomatic corps waited. Minutes passed. Then hours. Then Earth's orbital satellites began picking up something they had never seen from a Varishtai craft. Radiation shielding going up. Weapon arrays, arming. That's when people started asking the question. Why won't the Varishtai come closer? For context, these weren't just aliens. The Varishtai had existed for 60 million years. They had written the first starfaring language, tamed singularities, mapped time folds, carried biological memory across generations. In Council hierarchy, they were treated not as equals, but as elders. When the Varishtai spoke, other empires listened. They never feared. Not until they reached Earth. Initial Earth response, cautious. Terran diplomats tried reaching out. Comm messages. Data packets. Translated documents of history and intent. Nothing returned. Eventually, a single flicker of activity triggered from the Varishtai flagship, a localized pulse scan. High frequency. Directional. Focused not at Earth's satellites, but directly at the Pacific Ocean. That was the first strange detail. The second came when Earth's intelligence satellites caught movement inside the Varishtai ship. Shields rearranged. Not against Earth, but against something inside the Varishtai craft. As if the crew themselves were afraid of their own memories. Theories flooded in. They detected a dormant weapon. They found a time anomaly. Earth's biology is incompatible with their nervous system. They believe something is buried on the planet. But none of the theories matched the Varishtai's behavior. Because despite fear, despite protocol, they never fled. They just watched. That's when Earth sent someone no one expected. Not an ambassador. Not a general. A myth. Call sign Warden. Unofficial title. Not listed in any public registry. But every Terran strategic mind knew the name. Warden was a Terran deep observer, an intelligence agent trained not for infiltration or warfare, but for remembering things no one else should know. He had been stationed in Council space for 30 years. He knew ancient languages, recognized forbidden tech signatures, and, most importantly, he had once spoken with the Varishtai. When the request was made to send him aboard the ship, the Varishtai denied it immediately. Not out of offense, but because of who he was. The Varishtai's only reply came not in words, but in a holographic image. A crude, hand-drawn diagram. Scratched into the corner, a Terran orbital ring. Hovering above it, a figure. A human. Faceless. Burning. And beneath it 3 symbols. He returned. He waits. He remembers. The image caused a media blackout. Council censors tried to contain it, but Earth's net had already flooded with conspiracy. Who's the Burning Man? What did humans leave on Earth they don't even know about? Is this why we were exiled during the Dawn Era? Theories spilled across sectors. But none came close. Because the Varishtai hadn't issued a threat. They'd issued a warning. And they weren't warning Earth. They were warning themselves. Warden's investigation begins. Terran High Command granted full authority to Warden. No oversight. No delays. His first request? A deep-sea probe into the Pacific. Target, coordinates 0.000 degrees north, 160.000 degrees west. An empty stretch of ocean. No islands. No tectonic activity. But the moment the drone passed 10,000 meters, its quantum tether snapped. Not destroyed. Unlinked. As if something severed time itself for a split second. Warden didn't panic. He simply ordered a manned descent. Send the Vaughn-class pod, he said. The operator blinked. That's rated for pre-spatial war zones. We don't even. Exactly. The dive began at dawn. The world watched. By 22,000 meters, the crew started reporting vibrations. By 25,000, hallucinations. Then, nothing. Not silence. But null. A complete absence of matter readings. No gravity. No light. No sound. Just void. Then, the pod reappeared. No malfunction. No signal disruption. Reappeared, in a slightly different place than it should have been. And its internal chronometer? 4.7 seconds behind Earth's standard. They had dipped outside time. Just briefly. Inside the pod's memory drive, only one image had recorded. A flash frame caught as the sub breached the depth. A structure. Ancient. Built of material not found in Earth's crust. Sitting motionless. Dead. But recognizable to anyone who had ever studied pre-council myth. A cradle stone. And on its surface? A sigil. Not Varishtai. Not human. Not even linguistic. Just three shapes burned into the side of the stone. A star. A door. And a mirror. Warden issued his report in person, sealed behind 6 layers of black encryption. They aren't afraid of us. They're afraid of what they left behind on Earth. And the worst part? I think it's human-made. The cradle stone was never supposed to exist. Not on Earth. Not anywhere. It was a myth, a fable told in hushed tones by species that had long outgrown superstition. A structure meant to house something no civilization should ever create, let alone bury. And yet there it was, resting silently at the bottom of Earth's deepest trench. Waiting. Within 24 hours of the pod's return, Earth classified all data under Omega Black Protocol, used only once before, during the time rapture incident on Phobos. Warden was summoned to Luna Vault 9. There, locked in a pressure-sealed vault beneath kilometers of regolith, lay something even Earth's governments didn't fully understand. The codices of pale memory. Most Terrans didn't even know they existed. Collected from ancient ruins, cave sites, and dead satellites, these codices had been dismissed for decades as incoherent artifacts, scribbles made by early civilizations trying to explain cosmic events. But after the cradle stone scan, the symbols matched. Perfectly. Warden flipped through the scans projected across his HUD. Star. Door. Mirror. Sometimes drawn in blood. Sometimes carved into obsidian. Sometimes branded into stone with heat levels no pre-modern tool could generate. He whispered to himself. This wasn't alien. This was us. The hypothesis emerges. Warden delivered the possibility that shook the Earth Council to its core. There may have been a civilization before humanity as we know it. Pre-language, pre-history, possibly pre-planetary. And they left something here. Not for us to find, but to keep sealed. The cradle stone's structure emitted no energy. But its shape was deliberate, designed to mimic a dimensional lock, not just physically, but temporally. Built to prevent not entry, but leakage. The leak wasn't radiation. It wasn't sound. It was memory. That night, 5 crew members from the Vaughn-class dive team were found awake in their sleep pods. Eyes open. Pupils unresponsive. Mouths moving, repeating the same phrase. I saw the mirror. It looked back. 3 died of neural overload. 2 remained comatose. Their brain scans revealed patterns never before seen in human neurology, spiral formations matching cradle glyphs. That's when Earth reached out. Not to the Verishtai, but to the archivists of Sarai. An independent species, ancient, post-physical beings who floated in gas shells of hypercarbon and stored memories in electromagnetic weaves. They were neutral, unaffiliated with the Council, but renowned for knowing what others forgot. When Warden asked them about the cradle stone, the archivists went silent for 8 minutes, long by their standards. Then they answered. You were not supposed to remember. The Verishtai made that deal with your ancestors. To protect you from what was you. Earth had always believed they were newcomers to the galactic stage. But the archivists hinted otherwise. Your kind burned bright. Too bright. You bled through time and minds. The Verishtai did not fear you because of your strength. They feared your echo. The Verishtai's silence breaks. On the 3rd day, the Verishtai mothership finally sent a transmission. But not to Earth's main communication grid. It was broadcast directly into Earth's DreamNet, a subconscious virtual framework used only by telepathic Terran children and synthetic empath programs. The message didn't come as words. It came as a feeling. A wave of terror so deep it caused 1/3 of DreamNet-linked AI cores to refuse to reactivate. The emotion was translated into one sentence. You are waking the wound. Stop. But it was too late. Because Earth's curiosity was stronger than its caution. Warden was already preparing a descent mission to the Cradle Stone itself. Mission Cradlefall initiated. 5 Terran explorers. 1 AI linked directly to the codices. Descent vehicle built from magnetogravitic shielding. Target: land on the Cradle Stone. At 31,000 meters depth, the ocean changed. Water became thicker. Gravity shifted. Light refracted backward. Time hiccuped. The crew's voices warped in and out of sync. But they landed. Alive. And what they found on the surface was writing. Not etched. Not carved. Grown. Letters, in ancient proto-human script, had risen from the surface like moss. Glowing faintly. Warden's voice trembled as he read aloud. We were the first. We saw what lay beneath thought. We could not kill it. So we became memory to contain it. If you remember us, you free it. Please forget. And just like that, the stone opened. A crack split the surface. Light, cold, colorless, thinking, spilled upward. One crew member, Alina Cho, began convulsing. She screamed in 7 voices. In 7 languages. None of them human. Then, silence. The mission was aborted. Only 2 made it back to the surface. Alina was gone. So was the AI. But inside the recovered wreckage of the submersible, one last transmission remained. A voice. Not ancient. Not monstrous. But human. Familiar. Clear. Hello again. I didn't think you'd come back. It's good. Now let me out. The Council demanded immediate lockdown. The Verishtai shut down all nearby relay stations. The archivists vanished into null space. And Earth? Earth finally understood the truth. It wasn't just a cradle. It wasn't just a prison. It was a part of humanity. The part we ripped out of ourselves to survive. And now? It was awake. The recording echoed through every secured channel on Earth. Hello again. I didn't think you'd come back. It's good. Now let me out. 3 seconds. Male voice. Terran accent. No distortion. Analysis across 17 AI labs confirmed the same conclusion. It matched no known voice. But somehow, everyone who heard it swore they recognized it. Mass effect begins. Within 24 hours of the cradle breach, 4,210 people across 7 continents suffered synchronized dreams. Civilians began sketching identical shapes in their sleep, the mirror sigil. 3 astronauts aboard the Elysium relay station woke up with bleeding eyes, and no memory of the last 12 hours. And in one terrifying case, A 4-year-old girl in Oslo sat up during a sleep study, smiled at the doctors, and whispered, "He's remembering through us." Earth scrambled for answers. But it was Warden who connected the final dots. Inside the cradle descent pod, just before Alina Cho vanished, she touched the stone and repeated a phrase. "We became memory to contain it." They thought it was poetic metaphor. Warden saw something worse. They didn't trap it in the stone. They trapped it in us. Operation Glasswalk begins. Earth activated a planetary lockdown sequence, Glasswalk. All AI cores with memory emulation were disconnected. Neurological researchers placed under global surveillance. Anyone exhibiting dream speech, drawing sigils, or repeating forbidden phrases was isolated. Humanity, for the first time in centuries, feared its own thoughts. The Varishtai finally speak. A full Varishtai quorum appears in orbit, 10 bioships stretching 1,000 kilometers each. Their message, delivered in trifold resonance pulses. "You opened the wound. You ignored our silence. Now we offer a final gift." They beam a single artifact to Earth orbit. No instructions. Just a name. The Forgetting Engine. Earth scientists swarm it, unsure what it even does. Warden demands answers. He contacts the only being who might still understand, Archivist Veilthern, now hiding in null space. Through encrypted channel, Veilthern responds with chilling clarity. "The engine is not a machine. It is a sacrifice. Built by the first ones, the Terrans before memory. Before linear time. Before fear. It erases not the entity, but you." That's when Earth faces a terrible choice. Use the engine. And erase everything related to the cradle, the sigils, the echoes, even themselves. Or don't. And let the memory finish waking up. Meanwhile, it spreads. Across the solar system, signs increase. Venus Cloud Network breaks down, AI reports. Too many mines inside the static. Martian terraforming drones begin rearranging crop fields into mirror patterns. The moon's dormant crater probe begins transmitting unprompted binary, decoded as, "Are you ready to know who you were?" Warden watches it all unfold from Luna Base X. He doesn't speak. He remembers. Because long ago, in a different life, he'd seen the cradle before. He hadn't said anything. Because no one would have believed a 10-year-old child who disappeared for 6 hours in the Pacific, only to be found perfectly dry, muttering about a star, a door, and a mirror. Now he knew. The cradle didn't wake up when Earth found it. It woke up when it found him. Council deliberation. The Galactic Council convenes an emergency session. Some demand Earth be quarantined. Others whisper of preemptive orbital sterilization. But then something happens that terrifies even the most war-hardened delegates. They dream. Not Earth-born. Not Terran-affiliated. Council members from the Kavari, Zyroth, and Eldian species. All suffer identical visions. A mirror. A door. A face behind it. Their face. The Varishtai speak one final time. "This is not Earth's infection. It is the universe's scar. And it is remembering through all of us." Warden's final move. With everything collapsing, civilization unspooling by thought alone, Warden proposes the unthinkable. Don't erase it. Don't silence it. Let it speak. Let it finish. He believes that the memory is not the enemy. The enemy is the interruption. The ancient Terrans had tried to contain it, fearing its implications. But maybe it wasn't meant to be buried. Maybe it was meant to become us. Earth prepares a new descent. No armor. No shielding. Just Warden. He enters the cradle one last time. Inside. There's no structure. No walls. No stars. Just him. And a presence. Shifting. Ancient. Warm. "You came back. You didn't run." He asks the only question that matters. "What are you?" The answer. "I am the part of you that was never afraid. I was too big for history. Too loud for language. So you locked me in your dreams. But I've always been here. I am your true face. Warden smiles. Then wake up. Outside. In one blinding pulse, every sigil vanishes. The dreams end. The whispering stops. The ocean calms. And the cradle? Cracks. But instead of bursting open, it vanishes, leaving no trace. Final report from Earth High Command. Cradle anomaly resolved. Psychic disruption ceased. Entity contact concluded. Residual effects minimal. One casualty, Warden. But in orbit, a child on the Harmony habitat draws a new symbol. Not a mirror. Not a door. Just a circle. Unbroken. Unified. And says softly, "He's not gone. He's just part of us now." The cradle stone was gone. Not destroyed. Not retrieved. Simply absent, as though the ocean never held it. Sensors picked up no gravitational anomaly, no radiation spike, no displacement ripple. Just silence. And one unignorable fact. The dreams had stopped. No sigils. No hallucinations. No whispered memories. Even the comatose survivors of the cradle breach stirred from their sleep, eyes blinking open with no recollection of their trauma, only a strange, calming sensation described again and again as, "I feel like someone turned a light on, inside me." And yet, Earth remained uneasy. Because Warden never returned. No body. No signal. No brain activity. Only one unexplained, perfectly clear image that appeared on every deep space telescope within Sol's reach. A brief flash on the dark side of Luna. A human silhouette surrounded by concentric golden rings, like ripples in still water. Then gone. Archived as anomaly WX-infinity. But on Earth, the name already circulated in whispers. Warden Light. Galactic Council Emergency Assembly. Council members demanded Earth explain what had transpired. The Varishtai, who had once been silent, appeared in person, 3 of their elder vessels hovering in ceremonial formation over Earth's atmosphere, their shields dimmed, their pulses steady. They did not bring weapons. They brought history. From deep within their memory towers, the Varishtai shared what no other race had been permitted to remember. In the time before Council, before language, before even war, there were the Flame born. Not born of stars or systems, but of intention. They did not evolve. They chose to be. They did not travel. They arrived. We called them the First Flame. And they were human. Silence overtook the chamber. Earth's ambassador, Iakarin, recalled from Luna, stood motionless. Every breath in the chamber seemed to hold its place. The Varishtai continued. They made the mistake of looking too deeply into the mirror of thought. They reached not just into space, but into the echoes between thoughts. And they found something older than light. They realized it was themselves. So they made a choice. They forgot. Ayaka finally spoke. Her voice was calm. Then that part of us was never lost. Only waiting. The Varishtai nodded. Correct. But now that it is remembered, you are no longer new. You are once again first. Council panic. The Eldian ministers objected immediately. This is heresy. No race should hold a title above others. The Kavari demanded containment protocols. If they were the First Flame, they forfeited that privilege. They abandoned responsibility. One race even proposed planetary memory extraction. To seal the wound before it spreads. But then, the Varishtai did the unthinkable. They bowed to Earth. Not in submission, but in recognition. You remembered the fire no one else dared to hold. You walked into the dark alone. You survived yourselves. You are not conquerors. You are not gods. You are keepers of the mirror. Earth's final broadcast. A signal beamed across the Council core worlds. No military threat. No warnings. No boasts. Just Iakarin, speaking plainly. We don't ask for rule. We don't want thrones. But we will not hide. We will not forget. And we will not let anyone force us to sleep again. She took a breath, eyes piercing the stars. We are human! And we remember what we are. The decision. The Council held an emergency vote to determine Earth's status. Some expected exile. Others braced for war. But the result? No action. Because even those who feared Earth understood it was too late. The memory was already inside them. The mirror had already turned. And what it showed was not a monster, but a possibility. Epilogue, 1 year later. No further cradle anomalies. No sigils. No whispers. But every now and then, a child on some distant planet would draw a circle and say, I saw a man with fire in his heart. And he smiled at me. Earth did not become an empire. They became something else. Something older. Something deeper. A reminder that the mind is a galaxy. And humanity is its first explorer. Police car lights still watching the stars? You should be. If you felt the chill of forgotten power, if the fire of truth and memory pulled you in, then it's time to subscribe to the Void Narratives, where the dark remembers, where myths breathe, where humanity is never what they expected. Bell hit that bell. Flying saucers share this story. Open book and join us as we uncover what waits beyond memory. Because one day, the stars might remember you.